Has Jackson State found the ultimate James Houston replacement in NYLES GADDY? Woo, hoo, hoo. This is something I've been wanting to talk about. Let's get to it after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, Jackson State, yes, they took home the victory in the Southern Heritage Classic 16-3 with another dominant defensive performance. The offense finally able to score a touchdown late, but the kicker, Mr. Mata, he's proven his worth. Shador with the late play to Willie Sanders to kind of seal that victory. But the player of the game in my eyes was NYLES GADDY. NYLES GADDY has been on a tear this season already with 5 sacks on the year, including four in this game. And there's multiple reasons why NYLES GADDY is having such a successful season. But let's talk about NYLES GADDY because he came into Jackson State with a ton of hype. Going into the 2021 season, NYLES GADDY, folks thought he would have the season that James Houston eventually had, the 16.5 sacks, all the accolades, all the awards, etc., and then eventually got drafted into the NFL. Whereas NYLES, the reason why he was brought in as that guy, because one, he came early, and two, he actually went to the media day. They sent him up there with Shador Sanders. So that, and Coach Prime talked about him a whole lot. But NYLES had a disappointing season in 2021. I mean, he was the butt of a lot of jokes and a lot of criticism, including some from myself. And that is why this season I had a big arrow, a big thing pointed at NYLES to see what he would be able to do in this season. And let me show you some of the things that I'm talking about as far as NYLES in his season in 2021. So this is NYLES. Actually, this is the 2022 season. Let me pull up NYLES' statistics from 2021 and why you'll say, or some will say, including myself, that he was somewhat of a disappointment. I mean, let's take a look at it. Let me go ahead and put these headphones in, and then we're actually going to play some audio from NYLES and how he was able to dominate. So let's take a look. I mean, he only had 18. What do you have? 34 total tackles all year. 4 sacks. Just 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. 34 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks on the year. That was just disappointing. That wasn't what the folks expected from him going into being someone that they thought would be a defensive leader. And then you have another guy on the other side, James Houston, who got all the accolades, all the praise, bringing home 16.5 sacks and all those tackles, over 20 tackles for loss. But this is what NYLES is doing so far this year. And this is what NYLES, and we're going to give you an insight the way NYLES is thinking. Look, this is what he's done so far. He's already eclipsed what he did last year. He's got 5 sacks already. That's the sack total right here. And 5.5 tackles for loss. That's more than he had all of last year. All of last year, he's already eclipsed it in 2 games. That is telling you what kind of player this guy has improved from year 1 at Jackson State to year 2. This is what you call improvement, growth, development, all of those things that are taking place at Jackson State. Now I'm going to play for you a clip of NYLES, and just to give you an insight to how he has grown as a player, why he is being so dominant, why he was able to get out there and just disrupt everything that FAMU wanted to do in week 1, because they only gave him 1 sack. But I saw at least 2 sacks, and some folks say they saw as many as 3. They only gave him 1 sack, and it is what it is. But then he came back and had 4 against Tennessee State, and you couldn't make no mistake that he was out there just totally disrupting the game plan. Here from NYLES, this is clip from Niles in the post-game press conference on how he was able to dominate the offensive line at Tennessee State. This video is courtesy of HBCU Game Day. Shout out to HBCU Game Day. This is video credits to them. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Not trying to get a copyright strike. But here is what Niles had to say about his performance and how he was able to dominate. Just a short clip right here.
Now, what did you see that allowed you to attack and get the 4 sacks?
And so if you weren't able to hear the question was, Niles, what did you see that allowed you to attack and have the game that you were able to have?
I just went with the game plan. I practiced everything I've seen all week, watching film and just translate to the field.
What did you see on film that you translated to the field?
And they asked him, what did you see on film? And I love this answer by him because this tells you what type of study habits this young man has, what he is looking. I mean, listen to the answer.
So when I was watching the left tackle, I see every 3 steps he's going to punch. Those 2 punches, and then the right tackle, he likes to look the inside as soon as he turns his shoulders. So I take it. So I use power, and then the left tackle, I just took what I wanted from him.
So the man studied so much film that he was able to notice that every 3 steps on the left tackle that he punches. So you have a way to counter that. And then he said for the right tackle, when he does a certain turn, that means he's going inside. It means he's trying to take his defender inside. So he was able to counteract that. And you know what he's saying is true because he was able to get around those things to the tune of 4 sacks in the game. And if you remember, James Houston's coming out party was this very same game in the Southern Heritage Classic. He had a good game in the FAMU game, just like Niles had a good game in the FAMU game in the Orange Blossom Classic. But week 2 is when we were like, yo, whoa, James Houston just had 4.5 sacks. Who is that dude? And that is when he started to raise the eyebrows of the NFL people, of the fans at home, and he continued to have a dominant season throughout the rest of the year and eventually getting drafted by the Detroit Lions. NYLES GADDY is on that same trajectory. He had a really good game against FAMU, disruptive. They blew him out 59-0. But the talk of the game was Deion Sanders and the way he played and all the touchdowns and stuff like that. But NYLES in that defense was like, yo, they was impressive as hell, only giving up 3 points. Then this week comes. Shedeur and the offense struggles a bit. They struggle a bit. It just is what it is. They were able to run the ball effectively, but they struggle a bit. But who still came to play? NYLES GADDY in that JSU defense. And NYLES GADDY finished the game with 4 sacks. 4 sacks. You can't teach that. But it's the way he got the sacks. The fact that he studied the tendencies of the O-line. That is what pros do. That is what eventual pros and current pros do, both at the college level and obviously at the NFL level, studying tendencies, noticing every 3 steps he punches, noticing if he turns a certain way, that's what he's trying to do, noticing, and then not only noticing that, but having counter moves, being able to counter that to your effectiveness and disrupt the entire gameplay. Now, watch what Coach Prime had to say about Niles and his performance. This, once again, is brought to you via HBCU Game Day. Shout out to HBCU Game Day. This video is brought to you from them. This is what Coach Prime had to say about NYLES GADDY's performance in the Southern Heritage Classic.
What were your thoughts on Niles?
He's causing havoc. I mean, we thought he had a few sacks last week. We checked and it wasn't the case. But that just upset him because he felt like he had it. So he didn't want to leave here again with that same feeling that he had last week. The theme of this week was let's do it again. Let's do it again, and he did. So he left a lot of meat on the bone last season.
That's huge. And this is how you know that they're thinking about the disappointing season. It's okay for me to say it because Coach essentially said it. He left a lot of meat on the bone last season. Let's continue to hear what he had to say.
And somebody else, and he's not happy with that. Seeing someone else clap and get all the accolades and get all the passion and data boards, no, he's not happy with that. He wants that. Not that he's looking for that because he's not that kind of kid, but he's hungry. He's hungry, and he practices at that level. He studies and prepares those intricate things he just told you. That should allow you to know how detailed he is about his game and trying to getting to the next level, which is the NFL.
And that says it all. That says it all. The young man has a couple of missions in mind. It sounds like to go out there and dominate. That's the team's overall mission, but it's ultimately to get to the NFL. And the only way to get to the NFL is to put good games on tape, and not just good games on tape, dominant games on tape. That is exactly what NYLES GADDY did in that Southern Heritage Classic. And to have study habits, to know the intricacies of the game, to know the tendencies of the opponent, to know what the offensive line is doing. When you do this, what do they do? When we do this, what do we think they'll counter with? How do we counter their counter moves, right? And to go in there and to put it all on display. This could be a fire season for NYLES GADDY. It's already shaping up to be a fire season. He's already in 2 games had a better season than he had all of last year, right? Like already, like he's like if his season ended today, he could go down and say my 2022 year was better than my 2021 year, and it's only 2 games. Grambling and the rest of the SWAC better watch out, because if this young man continues to play at this level, Jackson State is going to be really hard to beat. Their offense didn't click. Their offense did not click. And they still were able to go out there and get 8 sacks, including 4 by NYLES GADDY. NYLES GADDY he is trying to put himself on those NFL draft boards. He's trying to rise up those NFL draft boards. Because think about it. When they talked about HBCU prospects, NYLES GADDY is draft eligible, right? Like NYLES GADDY can get drafted after he can declare for the NFL draft after this year. When they talk about NFL draft prospects in the HBCU sphere, he's a redshirt sophomore. They never mentioned NYLES GADDY. Why? Because he had a disappointing year last year. He continues to make plays like he did in the Southern Heritage Classic, and continue to put up numbers, the numbers that he has put up so far this season. He will continue to rise up the boards. The man is a great size, 6'4", 230 pounds. He's perfect size for the NFL. As an edge rusher, beware of NYLES GADDY. You have been warned, SWAC. The SWAC has been put on notice. 5 sacks in 2 games. Everybody should know your name. He's not sneaking up on nobody anymore. What can he do moving forward? They may have their next great Jackson State pass rusher and NYLES GADDY. And it's beautiful to see, because this is a person that I wanted to see what he would be able to do this year. And he's proven that he's able to do whatever, whenever he wants on that football field so far. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is JeffLightsYJr with the Black Boss Channel and Victor Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button before you head out. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That's Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.